Hey everybody, I'm here on Magic Online for a Scars of Mirrodin block flashback draft. Um, I did play during this block, but I don't remember that much about the draft format. I do remember Phyrexian Mana is very good, especially as a first pick. Um, like Slash Panther, Porcelain Legionnaire, and Dismember are all fine picks. I'm kind of inclined to take Dismember as it's probably worth a ticket or two. It's also removal. It's probably not as good in limited as it is in constructed because of the having to pay 4 life for it if you're not in black, but it's still quite good. Um, I think that has to be the first pick here. The splicers are pretty good, but Wall Splicer is not the best one. Grim Affliction is fine. If that would wheel, we'd be quite happy. So Killwalker is okay. Pestilent Soul Eater is kind of okay. Radiant Betrayers would be fine if we want to think about going the poison route. Poison decks in this format, from what I remember, if you get the poison deck, it can be very good. Poison creature or infect creatures are decent anyway because of the way that they interact with other creatures is very powerful. But the poison deck can you kind of end up fighting over it too. That being said, I don't see anything else in this deck that I think I want more than Verdian Betrayers. Priest of Erebask I would play, but it's kind of early to pick up just the okay creature. Gremlin Mine is pretty good too, but I think I want to stick with the Betrayers. So we get another Verdian Betrayers, a Vault Scourge, um, which is fine. Enchantment that makes every artifact into an equipment. Another Gremlin Mine. Um, I honestly don't remember the relative power of the infect creatures. I don't think Viridian Betrayers is particularly high on the power list because of its 1 toughness, but I'm also thinking that getting a second one might be a sign that infect is open on the like the green infect anyway. On the other hand, I mean, there's really nothing great in this pack other than Vault Squid, which anyone can play. So I don't see any. I think maybe that's the closest thing to a signal in that pack. We have an Invader Parasite, which this could actually be pretty good. Turn something into a Lost Leonin as a 2/1 infect. Not bad. White isn't really the best infect color from what I remember. But it's between Invader Parasite and Lost Leonin. We're not getting black, it looks like, so far. Haven't seen a lot of good black get past, so I don't know what's going to happen to our Dismember. I think I'm going to take the Lost Leonin here and stick with that plan. Mutagenic Growth is fine in that deck. Probably what I'm going to want here. The Splicers are mostly decent. This one's just average. So something that works with poison but isn't poison itself. This guy's actually fine as just a 5/5 artifact creature for 5. Um, Guess Verdict is also really good if we want to try to get into black. This is a much tougher pack than what we've been looking at. I think I want the mutagenic growth. It might be, that's a tough call over the Guess Verdict though. So I get to steal a card from my opponent and then play it. Basically, if I can cast it. This guy I think is fine at the size. This Suture Priest is okay, but doesn't really go with this potential infect plan. I think I'm going to take Exclusion Ritual as an expensive removal spell. I think that this format can be kind of fast. So now we've got Toxic Nim. I don't value the expensive infect creatures that much. I mean, this is not a bad creature. I think this format is not that slow though, that you can count on living to get any mileage out of this. To cast it and keep the black up to regenerate it. I kind of like Remember the Fallen. Especially if we end up picking up some artifacts. Spies I like too. Spies might have been a better pick there. Wow, Deathhood Cobra's a pretty good creature. Very versatile. Forced Worship. With only being at 3 creatures, I think I want the Deathhead Cobra here. Slash Panther, I think is reasonable. It's actually looking like maybe Red Infect is open. Maybe I should have taken that First Strike Infect guy. I don't want to zoom in too much on Infect here because it might not come together. But we are seeing some reasonable creatures in the Infect archetype. So Ruthless Invasion is okay. Unwinding Clock isn't going to do anything for us. So it's really between Priest of Urabrask, which is a decent chance of one of our last includes if we end up in a red deck, or Ruthless Inclusion, which is also a low priority card, but one that might make any deck. So we have the Black Shrine, which makes your opponent discard card. It's pretty easy to play around this. Not a lot of times you're going to be able to get like 2 or 3 cards with that. I guess I take the Ruthless Invasion, not anticipating playing that. The Shrine of Piercing Vision is actually reasonable. Any deck can play it. It's like a tutor. I don't think I'm gonna play it. It's not the worst thing to put on the board turn 2. Yeah, I'm not happy with what's coming together here so far. I'm just gonna hide Ruthless Invasion. That's not something I want to be playing. The Quarter Paladin is quite good. We got the Phyrexian Vat Mother. Spread the Sickness, which is good. I feel like these two black cards are more, even though I like the a Quarter Paladin a lot. Mirrorworks would be fine too. I really think Spread the Sickness and Phyrexian Vat Mother are the best cards in this pack. And I don't anticipate being able to wheel that Spread the Sickness, but it'd be nice. I don't think either one of those would wheel if I take the other. Peace Strider is okay. Another Infect creature. Infect lifelink, but just a 1/1. I like the Pistis Strike. Ways to give our opponents poison counters directly works well with Viridian Betrayers, but I think it's a little too early to take the Pistis Strike. Septic Rats I don't think I like that much. Galvanoth is not bad. I think what I want here is the Mirrodin Metal. And I hope to wheel one of these three cards. Okay, Blight Widow is I like a lot. I like the high toughness. And I like the reach. Blister Stick Shaman is a fine card. Time Shriek is also pretty important. Or, I mean, not important isn't the right word, but a pretty good card if we end up in white. So, our white and red are not that strong. I would take this if I thought we were more likely to be white, but we actually are kind of split right now between white and black, where we're almost certainly in green, which I think makes this a higher priority. And certainly both of these creatures are better than the Scourge Servant over here. Okay, go for the Throat. I think is what I'm going to want here. I like Phyrexian Rager a lot. I like Flesh Eater Imp a lot too. But go for the Throat seems to me like it's going to be the best. Strandwalker seems pretty good. The living weapons come into play with a token, so it comes into play as a 2/4 reach for 5. And then you can use it as equipment later, obviously. I just gotta think Go for the Throat is the easy pick here. As hard as it is to pass some of these creatures. I like Banishment Decree is alright. This is kind of a late pickup if we want it. Meaning I think this isn't the last one of these that we'll see. Sky Hunter isn't really what we want. I like this. There's enough 1 toughness creatures. It works with the Viridian Betrayers. I think that's going to be our pick. So, Serum Raker is a nice blue card. Silver Skin Armor doesn't really do anything unless you're on the Metalcraft plan. Which I haven't seen any Metalcraft cards, or seen much, and I don't remember if Metalcraft is in new Phyrexia. It might just be in Scars and Mirrodin Besieged. Um, but either way, I'm thinking that someone has moved in on Metalcraft pretty heavily, because you can pick up all these kind of enablers pretty easily after you box everyone out. This is really only good in Metalcraft. I'll take Lead the Stampede. I don't expect to play it. So this isn't great. It looks like we're getting cut off of something here. Aggressive Bolt is not going to do anything for us. Razorfield Rhino, I click on. None of these cards really do much for us. Serum Raker, I think, is the best card. Custom Bolt is okay. Razorfield Rhino is fine if you're, I guess I'm just going to take Serum Raker. So I really didn't want to be playing anything else that was in there. And we have a Time Shriek. It's not that realistic that we can support 3 colors, especially with the 2 Viridian Betrayers. And the Vat Mother, which we definitely want to play if we're Poison Exclusion Ritual, we could leave out. But I still think Time Strike is going to be the pick here over Scourge Servant. So we didn't really wheel anything that we wanted out of that first pack. Gruesome Encore is a reasonable, it's a sideboard card, I guess. Copper Carapace is actually pretty playable. I think that might be our pick here. We don't have any use for Ardent Recruit. So, like 1/1 Infect is not that exciting, even with a couple combat tricks which we're getting. So between another combat trick and the Flenser Might, I guess I'll take this just because it goes well with things like Copper Carapace and newly prioritize you know, we have a higher priority now on things like equipments. We already kind of wanted any combat tricks that boost power, so cost to count is not at all what we want in this deck. Frantic Salvage is also not really anything we can play. Red is pretty much out. Training Drone isn't very good. And Tricorn is the mill card, so also something that's not of any use. So our main problems, we're okay on playables, but we're split across 2 colors right now, and we only have 9 creatures. So once we take out at least 2 creatures from the colors that we're not playing, we're not in a position of strength right now. There's a 1/1 that can gain effect. Okay, prototype only makes artifacts. Throne of Geth is reasonable to proliferate poison counters. We didn't get any proliferate yet. That's also great for the poison decks, and that might be my undoing. We don't want that. Glimmerpoint Stag is quite a good card, especially in this format. It resets poison counters. But we're in, man, I guess I'm going to take the Glimmerpoint Stag. And I think I missed something. I gotta, yeah, I misclicked and got the Sun Chaser. Alright, took too long to decide on that one. This is okay, but not great. Thrumming Bird is good in the deck. They can play it, which is not us. These first two picks in this, even if I would have got the card I won last time, not going well for us. I don't think this draft is going to go well. These are all, there's a lot of good cards in this pack. Steady Progress is fine, Storming Bird is fine, Turn to Slag is good. Now Spellbomb is the only thing that fits in my colors, really. Man. It's not great when there's nothing in the first two packs that fits in your deck and you're as far behind as I am right now. So the Scudder is okay, it does not fit the Poison Plant at all. I might actually want the Sylvok replica. Sky Eel School is quite good. Blue's looking, I don't know if it's actually open or just like, you know, the person next to us isn't in blue either. Sometimes can be enough, but I've seen a lot of good blue cards, and I wish I had moved in on it sooner. So the pick here, it's got to be between Bladed Pinions. I guess I'll take Bladed Pinions. Really sticking with the poison plan. Untamed Might is a card that I want a lot. Tumble Magnet is a very good card. Tainted Strike is fine. I'm very low on creatures. Which makes me think that I need to take Igor Rats here. This is going to end up being just a bear for us. This card would be okay if our poison guys were a little more resilient, but a lot of our poison guys are /1, which means it's not going to do anything for us. The Copper Carapace is a much better choice. You know, Arrest is a really strong card here, but I think we're on the black plan. This guy is not particularly good, just because it's great when it works. When your opponent's tapped out and you get the surprise 2 infect. Really wish we would see one of these in our colors. But at this point we just need every creature we can get. Glenhawk Idol is quite good if you're in white. But I think at this point I'm definitely just in black green, and I'm just going to take the Alpha tier next year. So not actually ramp, just kind of fixing and kind of free, but it ties up some mana over another creature, and one that has poison, gives a poison counter and has infect. So that's pretty much got to be the plan. This is just too easy to play around. Um, you know, you get it on an artifact creature, maybe it keeps it from attacking, but it does not do that much work for a card. So Vector Asp is going to be the pick here. We're not going to play white at this point, I don't think. We didn't get any fixing. I don't think it was worth trying to take that Horizon Spellbomb just to be able to splash my white creatures. So I'll take the archers, not intending to play them. I don't really want any of these cards. Flameborn Hellion might be the best card. Psychic Miasma is a card I could play, I guess. I like this just fine for the cases where it gives one of our creatures that doesn't have infect out of nowhere. It pretty much has to be the pick. I mean, yeah, we're definitely, even though I knew going in that one of the biggest traps is to try to play the infect deck when it's just not there. That's kind of what I ended up doing. Nitrogen Sensor is actually a reasonable card in the right deck, but it doesn't fit in ours. So let's see what we came together with here. We've got the one card we're definitely playing is Copper Carapace. The one artifact, I should say. Bladed Pinions is really only under consideration for the evasion. Vector Asp we're probably going to need, and we don't really want to play either of these. With no Proliferate, this basically says your opponent loses 4 life, and with us primarily being on an infect plan, it just doesn't do any work for us. And this is Mill, which does nothing, and this is not that likely to be good. Off of Tyrannax, we probably have to play just as a body. Our poison creatures, our 2-drop that can get Death Touch, and our combat tricks. Those are all definitely in. Again, our infect creatures pretty much have to go in. Dismember and go for the throat are definitely in. And our combat tricks pretty much have to be in. So it leaves us with 3 slots and not good options for them. We're only at 13 creatures, which isn't good. We have double black and double green, which is part of the reason why these cards are available. I think I take the Bladed Pinions. Not only is flying good for invasion, but first strike with infect can be quite good. It can save your guy a lot of the times. You know, it makes combat really tricky. Attacking with a 2/1 first strike, it's going to trade with things that it wouldn't trade with. It's going to survive with things it would normally trade with if it has infected first strike. And that goes even more so for the slightly bigger guys like Blight Widow, Vat Mother, Scourge Servant, or the 3-power Verdant Betrayers. So we got 2 cards that boost toughness. That's good with our /1 guys. Tame the Strike unfortunately doesn't. Lead the Stampede. It's sort of like having another creature in our deck. I don't know the exact math, but if 1 in 3 cards in our deck is a creature, this is usually going to hit a creature. Occasionally it's going to hit 2. And you'd be really lucky to have it do more than that. But again, Necrogen Sensor I don't think does anything for us. The options at this point are really, I mean, you can see it's the only colors left in our only cards left in our colors, and we're thinking we're going to play 2 of them. That's a sign your draft did not go well. Especially when we actually did get reasonable cards in other colors. You know, these are all okay cards. And then these are very good blue cards, which we took just because there was nothing else in the pack for us. And these are all strong white cards. I don't think I can splash this with no fixing. I might have taken that Horizon Spellbomb and just splashed 1 or 2 planes plus the Spellbomb and tried that. But our deck is not very splash friendly, mostly because of these 4 cards. So, Psychic Miasma. Doesn't have much upside for us other than just being a body and lead the Stampede. I think that we take the Isuri's Archer just as an early body. They can trade with flying creatures quite easily. I really think that this does nothing. Just think about all the cards that this is worse than. The fact that they can't discard a land card doesn't do much. That's most useful late in the game if all they have is a land card, and then you know that you can take this back in your hand. And if they have some kind of combat trick or something, you can get it again before you attack. You know, if it's not a creature. So this is pretty slim. Lead the Stampede, though, I think is also. So the rest go on the bottom of your library. I mean, I think that's what we're taking over the Psychic Miasma, which I don't really expect to do anything. The opponent discards their worst card that's not a land. You have to figure your opponent is only discarding a land card if all they have are lands. Versus Lead the Stampede, which can be card advantage. Alright, I'm gonna try Lead the Stampede. I don't like the looks of this deck at all, I will say that. It's not a great sign when our best cards are like 2/4 drops, and I would say Mutagenic Growth and Dismember, go for the throat. Those are all good cards, but we just do not have the threats to back it up. So we're really going to need our equipment to do some work to help us force through some poison and put some pressure on. This is a deck that I feel like even if we're getting through for a little bit of infect damage here and there, can easily be outraced. And if our opponent is ahead of us in the race, like just attacking our life total, a lot of our infect guys can easily just turn into chump blockers that don't do quite enough. We got 0 proliferate cards. I might have overlooked something that I should have taken higher priority. I think even though a good infect creature is a high priority, I probably should have taken whatever the card is from Mirrodin Besiege that says destroy target creature and proliferate. That both puts additional -1/-1 counters on any of your opponent's creatures, which is great when you have these little infect guys doing battle. and obviously adds another poison counter. So, it's a deck. It's not strong. We can steal some wins with it, maybe. We'll see how it goes. I'll be back for round one.